Alrighty, guys. So we're here with the new and improved F22 Raptor with the thrust vectoring, and I wanted to come and give you some build tips before I destroy this thing, because I'm flying it like a lunatic now with the thrust vectoring, and something's going to happen. It's just, inevitable. That's the beauty of 3D printed planes, right? Is that you can just go ahead and print out a new airframe and just throw your electronics in it. So okay, let's get started on the assembly of this area here. Everything from the front back is extremely easy to do. Nothing to know really. Everything is straightforward. Kyle's design style build. All right, so the tailerons, okay, full flying tails, however you want to do it. Or actually, no, let's start here. These are just traditional TPU hinge material, because it's the reason why I do that is just ease of use for you guys, and the fact that it has such a thin section right here that and it's so rounded. You don't, there's no gap, so it's perfect. It's very flush, and you can see. So this here comes in two parts. Okay, there is an L. There's an L imprinted on half of this and half of this. Okay, this was only from a color. This was I ran out of filament. This is the only reason why there's a color shift here. So this is actually just one piece, and this is one piece here. This piece here, you want to print this in 6% infill. This you can do in 5, whatever. I mean, just, you know what? Just do everything in 6. Make it really strong, because you need the weight back here anyway. I'm actually recommending the final fuselage to be printed in like 8% or 2 wall, just to get enough weight where you guys don't have a problem balancing with the battery. So 17 gram servo. I am going to provide a link to this exact one. You have to get this one. There's a reason. You must get this 17 gram servo because it's strong. It's never broken on me. It has a huge, thick nylon, double-sided, double, winged servo arm, and it fits exactly into this slot right here. Then look how flush it is. So you need this flush fit, and all servos are different. They all fit different. I don't care what anybody says. All 17 gram servos are different size. And the biggest reason why this 17 gram has to be your servo is because it does not jitter. I've gone through 3 or 4 different brands, and 1 or 2 out of the 4 jitter with full flying tails, direct, and these do not at all. So it slips right in the pocket. You run the servo wire through. You glue. You take this part here. Okay. Actually, no. You glue the taileron together, because I was originally going to put screws in here, but you can get such a good fit and such a good fit up with the hot glue. You don't need it. You don't need the screws. You can use screws if you want to find tiny little screws and drive them through the holes, but it's not necessary if you backfill a little bit of hot glue onto the back side of the servo arm. So what I do is I glue this part and this part together. I hold it vertically. I drop glue in the bottom of it. You don't fill up the whole cavity with glue. You just put like maybe 2 millimeters of glue along the bottom, a little more on the ends. You don't want a lot in the middle of it, because it could get into the gear. So then you stick that on. You make it horizontal to the ground, and you hold it here. You hold it nice and tight, and you let it set up. And then you go like this. Do the tails last, by the way. Don't put the tails on until it's the last thing you do. Get all this done, because you want access to in here. And so you can, from under here, you can turn the plane on its side. You could drop some hot glue inside here, and then you turn it this way. You drop hot glue on the other way. So those are done, right? Now you want to do this is the least complicated thrust vectoring unit there is, but that I've ever done, and I've seen them all. But it's still something. There's a process to it. Okay, so this has TPU hinge material. It has one here, one here, one here, one here. They're just big slots cut in here. Okay, but you want to cut out little, like I would say 12 millimeter, 13 millimeter wide strips by, I don't know, like start off with 30 millimeter or 25 millimeter inch long. And you put them, you just like my normal hinge material, you put it in the control surface, take a razor blade, cut the slots out, and then put the hinge material in here, in here, and here, and here. And then you do one at a time, and you're gonna stick it in, and you're gonna set it up so that there's this much of a gap, basically. So you want like that much of a gap because you want it to go about 45 degrees up and down, okay? And the next part is once you have all 4 of these vector vanes installed and they're dry, then you have my little vector. Let's see if we can see this. So I have 2 PLA printed brackets or that allow both of these things to move up and down in unison and keep them together while also spinning, because you want to back them off just a little bit from the screws just so they still spin. You can see the screws are here. These screws, these 4 screws that are here, 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 and here, come with these 17-gram servos. So you're going to use, these are hot glued in. You're going to use the servos. I mean, I'm sorry. You're going to use the screws for these servos to attach the brackets to the vector vanes. So simple. There's no glue involved. They literally screw in. I designed the channel here. So they're cut out so that they screw right in. And the way you do it is you just pull this flap up and then you put the screw in that way and you have enough room. Don't put your tails on. Remember, tails go on last. You want to drive the screws through and leave a little bit of room so that this can spin. And that's why these little indents are here, okay? And then the same thing with the bottom one. The little bracket hangs down, it's flapping around. You flip the jet upside down and you push both vanes up so that you can access the other screw. So you can put the screw in, screw it in, and then back it off a little bit, okay? Now you have vector vanes in and they move up and down perfectly. They're solid, everything works great. I have revised this internal area here so that the 4.3 gram servo can fit a little bit more flush in. This is going to be 2.5 millimeters further in this way. So this kind of doesn't stick out into the in the air, but honestly, there's no thrust issues with this thing. So this servo is going to sit 2 millimeters that way, and it's going to have a little bit more space because these are a little bit tight for me. You got to cut the ears off of these servos, and it's going to go back a millimeter. You're just going to have more room, basically. The way I used it, I figured that you can either have your servo arm pointing down or up. I just chose down. It doesn't hit anything. There are also little tiny control arms in here. You'll see them. I'm going to put this on here for a second, and I'm going to see if I can show you the control horns without breaking anything. Okay, so let's see if I can show you these. Okay, there we go. There's a good view. So I'm going to put my knee on here. I'm trying to do all this with water. Okay, now we got hands. Okay, so you can see the control horn there, right? So that control horn, you're going to pull the vector vanes down, and you can glue in with your finger. You can push the control horn in. It's just, there's a little slot on the vector vane that you just glue the thing on. There's like a little slot that it sits in, and it glues right on there, okay? So there's your control horn for that. I don't know why it's blurry. I think it's on the wrong camera. Let me see. There you go. You can see the control horn there. It just glues right on there. You'll see the slot on the bottom. And yeah, I think that is it for this. You can see the other one here. Oh, there's a better view. Okay, you can see it. There's a slot. It glues right in, and it fits perfect. I'm trying to think what else we need here, guys. Everything else is pretty standard. The 9-gram servos for the ailerons are underneath. The tunnels are big on this, so it doesn't. There's no issues with running. This one and this one, they share a tunnel, and no problem. I didn't have any hangups. If you're using a wire puller, you're going to be good. And yeah, I set it up as a quad elevon. So like the ailerons and the tailerons, they move together in unison. And then when what I did was I made a mix for the thrust vectoring. So I have quad elevons. I have 2 Y adapters I have a Y adapter that connects these 2 servo wires together, and then that goes into the aileron. And then I have these 2 on a Y connector, and that goes into the elevator. And then it's super simple, aileron elevator, just 2 wires going into the receiver. And then you can use a 6-channel. So the thrust vectoring, so this servo goes into channel 5 on my receiver, and this one goes into channel 6. I made a really simple mix, and I just have it on elevator. You guys, if you guys want to program it to do full roll and pitch, you could do that. I don't think it needed it. I have so much control surface on roll, it doesn't need it. But if you want to do that, you can do it. So what I did was I have a mix where this, for instance, this servo, this vector vane goes from mixed elevator into aux 5, which is this, and then you just got to make sure it's going in the right direction. And that's really it. And I put it on a switch. I have both of these on a switch, and yeah, just a simple mix. I have it at 75% rate right now. I'm going to move it up to 100% rate to get a little bit more vector, because this thing you can fly around on vector. Don't recommend it, guys. Do your maiden flight, trim it out, get it done. And then if you want to, flip it to vector once you're comfortable with the plane, and then feel what it does when you're pulling on the elevator, you're moving it around. If it's too much for you, you can back it off. But I found that it doesn't make it unflyable like most thrust vectoring. So yeah, that's really it, guys. This is top notch F22. It's the best F22 I've ever flown. It used to be my old single 64 millimeter was my favorite. It shares the same fan, but this one's way more refined, and obviously it's just overall better. It has a much better tail setup, thrust vectoring, details. My print wasn't that great because I ran out of filament. I was using 2 different filaments. So, but yeah, it's a great flying plane, and you do not need any kind of hand launch mode on it. It just goes. It flies, it tracks out real straight, and it slow flies really well, very maneuverable. So thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy it.